Hi, I'm Kelly Rowlett-Presgrave. I'm president and CEO of Work With Your Hands, and we are so proud to be a sponsor of Power Women of the Trades podcast. You can reach us at workwithyourhands.com. Kelly at workwithyourhands.com is my email.
At Relentless Digital, we believe in breaking barriers and driving innovation. That's why we are extremely proud to sponsor the Power Women of the Trades podcast, supporting the voices and success of women in the home service industry. Together, we're creating a future where talent shines regardless of gender and diversity thrives. Join our journey at relentless-digital.com and always be relentless in your pursuit of excellence.
This episode of Power Women of the Trades is also brought to you by Forrest Perry of Forrest Perry Digital Marketing. Want to generate more leads for your service business? Trust his team to deliver quality new customer leads and protect your brand online. Check out perrymarketing.com today.
Chirp, the ultimate automation toolbox for home service businesses. Chirp helps you capture more leads, connect faster, close more deals, and create customers for life. Through text message, email, and ringless voicemail automation, Chirp can help you transform your customer's experience. Learn more in the show notes below.
Welcome to Power Women of the Trades podcast. This show is all about breaking barriers and changing the game. Our guests will feature some of today's most successful female entrepreneurs and other advocates of our industry as well. Because if there's one thing we know for sure, female-led entrepreneurship drives change on multiple levels. We want to empower women in the trade industry like you so you can maximize your potential, stay balanced, achieve long-term success, and claim ownership over your life. Let's get started.
All right. So, hey, girl, I'm excited. I start everything with saying I'm excited, but I am excited always about chatting with you today. I, through the years, have gotten to know you through social media and through the events. And I just feel like now's the time. We get to talk about
Today is the day.
Today is the
We're
day.
going to talk about water.
Well, water.
How many ounces of water we're drinking.
Pre-show.
Why doctors are right.
Why doctors are sometimes right. Sometimes they're right.
Pre-show, we were talking about Leslie's intake of water, which we're proud.
Yeah.
We're proud.
You should honestly be proud because it's a struggle.
It is.
I mean, it's true. It's ongoing.
Yeah, there is a reason they have been saying we need water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But literally, they've only been saying that for 5 years when the Stanley Cups became... Like, when I was growing up, did you ever hear anyone talking about drinking water? No.
And they
Were
barely
we all
let
dehydrated?
us... Yes.
And we drank out of water fountains.
They barely let us out for a drink out of the water fountain.
Yeah.
Now our kids...
I drink out of a water hose.
Yeah.
Like where I'm
That's
from,
the best water,
drink
too.
out of a water hose.
Why do you think it was so good? Because it was like in the hose and it was all minerally.
Yes, like
It was
it's coming
good.
straight from the tank.
It's
Yeah.
part dirt.
Honestly, that was good water, though.
It was good water.
Cold.
Until it wasn't.
You
That
know
first
what?
shot was hot.
We didn't know
It
how good
sometimes
we had
hot.
it back then, did we?
We sure didn't. Okay, we're so funny. I bet our listeners are like that. Actually, one of our episodes was so ADHD that
Which
someone
one?
called us out. The one with Texas. It was so all over the place that a couple of people called us out, and I
Who
was
called us out?
Oh, they were calling us out like, "Thank you
I
for
was like,
making
he
me."
didn't call us
Not
out.
like
He was
rudely.
part of the problem.
They were basically like, "Thank you for letting me feel seen." Felt like because you're so ADHD, but so am I. You know, that's you have to be kind of right.
Yes.
But on a more serious.
On a more serious note, Lupita, you have beautiful skin. Like, beautiful. Do you have a filter on right now?
No.
Like, look at her skin.
I like to thank my mom, and my dad.
What's your
but
nighttime skincare routine?
You don't want to know.
Don't tell me you don't have one and your skin looks like that.
I do not have one, and I will be honest.
And you're
because
drinking Coke. And your
I'm
skin
honest. No, I quit Cokes like a month ago. Look, I'm doing what you said. Okay. But sometimes I fall asleep with my makeup on.
Oh, I can't with you.
I can't, and your skin still looks.
No,
I would look like a freaking.
No.
Like.
Well, your skin is beautiful.
Oh, thank you. And I just use a bar of soap and a wash rag.
A wash rag. This is Dana Jill. Yeah. Dana Jill. I love Dana Jill on TikTok. She's the skincare trifecta, and I've been talking to her, and she's like, might come on the show. Did you see that last night?
Yes.
I sent that to you. It's like, what?
She's gorgeous.
I've been talking to her. But because I kind of found out what she does for her job, and it's not.
What is it?
It's like apartments, but she goes to these.
It's real estate, right?
No, it's multifamily. I don't know enough about it to really be on record to say. So, but
let's move it back to Lupita.
Lupita.
Is it Lup? I feel like I'm saying it weird. Am I
Okay.
saying it too slow?
Yes.
No, you're fine. Like, no, where I'm from, like East Texas, I had to say my name as Lupita, as if it has a D in there, and it's actually Lupita. But if I say it that way, people are like, huh?
Lupita.
Someone's like, you don't speak Spanish. And I was like, okay.
Lupita.
But Lupita. I like
Lupita.
it to say it like with a D.
Lupita.
Yeah.
But Leslie's been saying it Lupita.
I know. I can do Lupita.
No, you can call me whatever you want.
I just in my head, that's how
it's not bad.
Okay, Lupita. I got it.
Okay.
There you go.
Well, I'm excited. It's not the right word to say about you being willing to be like real, raw, and honest about your journey right now, because I think you have intrigued. Is true. Because you have a testimony that I know is going to touch a lot of people.
I'm excited to hear this.
But because like we're just like fast turn.
I'm enchanted
of the thing. Enchanted to meet you. It's fast turn because you have such a story of recovery, addiction, recovery, healing, divorce, and all those things. And so let's just jump into it.
How do we do this?
How do we do it? How
that's a big
I think
ask.
Let's start with how did you get into the trades?
Yeah. How you got into trades. Start
okay.
there.
So how did I get into trades? So I'm just going to start off by saying I knew about the trades, but I wasn't interested because my former spouse, he was in the trades. So it's like, I'm going to be straight up honest. So he would go do jobs and he was like, you want to get in the truck? And I would get in the truck and, go run calls with him. And then I was like, what is this stuff? I could care less that you installed a unit 3 houses down from that one. I don't care that it's a Linux, a carrier, none of that. And then later on in life, I was given an opportunity to, work with Crystal a little bit. And of course, she, worked at McWilliams and Son, but also she was starting a company as well. And then that's when the trade just really came into place.
Mm-hmm. And so like previously, how long have you been with Lemon Seed?
Going on 4 years in June.
4 years. And then previously we were talking like you were a substitute teacher and you just really hadn't like
found your
place yet. And which now it's so interesting to me because we have these people who are oftentimes really entitled to positions that maybe they didn't earn.
Yeah.
Stay with me for a second. And then there's people like you who I feel like you were made to be in the position you're in, and you probably would have never even attempted it unless you got the opportunity.
What is your official position with Lemon Seed?
So I am now fully the brand ambassador / sales for Lemon Seed, like a sales assistant.
Okay.
But you see what I'm saying?
You bring on new business and things like that.
Yes.
Do you agree with what I'm saying as far as like, would you have ever jumped into a marketing position or a marketing company if someone hadn't have been like, hey girl, come over here?
No.
You see what I'm saying? No. So I feel like and then me knowing you on this other side, I think, but girl, you were made to work for that company. Not just for that. Like that's not your identity, but you're so good.
So you have like a vibe on each other.
Totally. And the vibe that you have is such a person, you're a people's person. Like you are talking to everybody. Maybe we're eating some Taco Bell and talking to people walking. No, I'm just kidding. But we got all kinds of late night stories from conferences and things like that. But she's a friend to everyone.
Oh, I love that.
And
I never meet a stranger.
You don't meet a stranger.
Honestly, that's a gift though, because for someone who's an introvert like me, that is foreign to feel that way. So that's like a gift. That's like a God-given gift to you to be able to act in that capacity.
I wasn't like that. Like you could never put me in a crowd crowd. You could never put me, say, in front of people. You could never like get me to lead or anything because I was always that girl in the back, like hiding.
But
Okay,
in the past, but
this is a good segue.
Yes.
So what do you feel like changed? Like, did something heal inside of you or was there some sort of fear there as to why you couldn't be that girl like you are now? You're saying in the past, I would never have been that way.
Yeah, I think, what it was is like all through life, like I felt like I hid behind someone and I never got to fully like actually grow, like grow into the person I wanted to be. I never, really had that encouragement that I needed to be confident. And just being around Crystal at work, I sat in the corner and cried majority of the time, or, I was on the floor wrapped up in a ball, like crying because I had real bad anxiety and depression. And she was like, something's got to give. So I was like, hey, like, what do I do next? She was like, you got to figure it out. You got to figure it out. No one else can figure this situation out but yourself.
Yeah. And during that time, were you still in your addiction or you're still?
I was. Yeah, I was still, I was a real heavy pill addict, like for Vicodin. Anything that could numb me out, whether it was something my doctor gave me or just something I could get from a friend or, anything like that. And I was taking up to 10 to 12 Vicodin a day.
Goodness.
On top of my clozapam. I was eating them like Skittles too, like, because I did not want to feel what was actually going on around me, because
do you feel like it was a long-term not wanting to feel, or was it a situational new thing?
It was a long-term thing. It's, of course, to me, I believe things start in your childhood. So, it was, my childhood, then it led into my teens, which I didn't dab into pills until I had my second kid, is when it came. I say it came out of nowhere, but I wanted to fit in with the situation that I was in.
Yeah.
Well, how do you feel like, what was the pivotal moment or the rock bottom when you were like, okay, something's got to change. I can't do this anymore. You mentioned Crystal.
Well, and then you were mentioned, I know we did not want, like maybe going through a divorce and those types of things. Was it all in that, like all kind of that wrapped together?
It was just, I think, so my wake up call was when I was like, I can't buy my son basketball shoes. He was in middle school. And I was like, I couldn't buy him shoes. So I was like messaging my mom and I was like, hey, can you help me? And then I was talking to Crystal and she's like, go buy him some. And I was like, I don't even have $5 to my name. Something just isn't right.
Yeah.
And I was, well, I don't know. I'm doing everything right. I don't know. I was still trying to hide.
Yeah.
Like I said, I've always hid behind someone's shadow. So I was like, you know what? I'm still going to hide. No one's really going to figure this out.
Right.
And then I think it was that afternoon, she was like, I need you to go take a drug test. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I was like, oh my gosh, I got to go take a drug test. There's no way. So I was just point blank with her. I was like, hey, I can't. I'm going to fail for, pain pills and I'm not prescribed them. I was like, everything else I'm prescribed, but pain pills. And like she laid into me that day. Like that's where that tough love came into play. And I remember like I was up against a tree. I was up against a tree like, oh my gosh, like everything she's saying was right. I mean, but I think I just needed that stabilization of someone like just right there hammering into me.
Someone that loved you.
Yes.
Hammering into you. Yes.
Yes.
And Crystal
she's coming from a good place.
Yeah. And Crystal is a straight shooter. You know what she's thinking. You don't have to this is what I gather from her, from my relationship with her as well, is like she is probably like, I feel like a lot like me, like you don't have to guess where she's at. Like you don't have to guess. And so she's like, all right, girl, I can just see her like, okay, girl, we're getting this shit done now. Like, let's go. Yeah.
Yeah. She was like, you got to figure something out. And I was like, are y'all going to fire me? Like, because that was in August. So I started working there June 1st. And then finally in August, because I figured attention was on someone else. And then they're like, no, something's not right with you. And that's when, I just broke down and Crystal was like, I don't know if you're still going to have a job. I don't know what we're going to do.
Was this at Lemon Seed, right?
Well, at the time it was called Apex Marketing.
Oh, okay.
And it was just like 3 of us in that office. only 3 of us. And I was like, oh my gosh, I just messed up a great opportunity that was like, I say, not handed to me, but kind of like given to me, like, hey, here's your shot. Let's get it right. So I remember like crying and like texting her. I was like, please don't get rid of me. Please don't get rid of me. Let me work this out. And on August 25th, that was the day that I quit it all.
You just quit it cold turkey? You white knuckled it?
It was awful.
Like, I'm sure. Like, were you in meetings?
Have ever asked me about this, but I had withdrawals.
Well, like, sure. But so what kind of like external support? Did you go to meetings or anything, or you just did it on your own? You just made the...
I did it on my own. I kept myself busy. I was constantly eating bananas because like my body was like just cramping up from like the withdrawals. And I stayed really active with my church.
Yeah.
Anytime like my mind would go to something, like I would either, pick up a Bible, or I actually learned that it was okay to reach out to people.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't being judged like I thought.
Right.
Because I thought like, everyone's against me or, stuff like that. In reality, it's not like that. It's just the demons in your head telling you that.
Create a story. Yeah. Well, like what is it? You can know something is a lie, but sometimes you'll accept a lie as a truth in your life. Like it's like logically you will know something. Your head tells you you've absorbed the information, but in your heart, you're still believing this old thing. Right? Because you're still like wounded there. So sometimes there can be a disconnect between like your head knowledge and like your heart knowledge about what's true.
Yeah, no, that is true.
I can't imagine just from like, and this isn't actually correlate. There is a lot of addiction in our space.
I think there's a lot of addiction.
Period.
Everywhere.
Period.
It's just everyone's addicted to something. And one thing we learned, like I've been participating in Celebrate Recovery for a long time, which is basically like AA, but it's faith-based, happens at churches. And like we all are addicted to something. It's just culturally in society, it's easy to demonize those that are doing pills, alcohol, substance abuse. But biblically, anything that is an idol in our life, whether it's work, whether it's jealousy, whether it's anger, it's all the same. We're all addicted to something, and we create coping mechanisms to work our way around those things.
Well, I agree with that. And I can see, and what I mean, I think by our space, because I agree with you on that, is we've watched a lot of people stop something and replace it with work. And I can talk about that myself. Like
I buried myself in work.
Yeah. And it's the root of it is still addiction. I can tell you, I've lost 130 pounds in however many years at this point. And I just traded food for work. That's it. I mean, there were some other things that happened in there, but there's still an addiction. I know that just from like my own family, childhood, my biological father, the addictions, how he passed away, my sister, his daughter passed away from cirrhosis of the liver. I'm super aware of like the addictions in my family. And so I've always been like told myself I was hyper aware of that. So I didn't become addicted to drugs or alcohol, but I never told myself, but actually you're addicted to food.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Until it started being a conversation from someone else that had the guts to say that.
Or it can be codependency. You're addicted to external validation from anything other than God, or and that is nobody wants to talk about that, right? But a lot of the rooted stuff with substance abuse or even sex addiction, whatever addiction you can think of, codependency plays such a big part in that. Right. And that goes back to childhood wounding that you may or may not have even known at the time. And you created these narratives about yourself and your experiences. And that's, it's kind of like a river and a current, and it can go off, instead of it following the path that it should. One little thing will make it go off into another direction. And then you just build your world around that story.
Yeah. Yes. That is true.
So you came through that, and Crystal's like, all right, girl, you have your job back? Or were you still working through that? Or
I was still working through it. Like every day, I think I would come into the office like, they're going to let me go. They're going to let me go. And I think just in reality, like they were watching me, like, hey, what is she doing? Is she doing anything? Is she doing right? But you could tell, like, I swear, like every day or every week, like you could tell a difference difference in me.
Yeah.
And just that, just speaking of trying to recover, I say alone, but, I had my friends, but also I had 2 kids at home that needed me. So I had to push through it like every night, every day. I was like, okay, I can't, because at the time they didn't know.
Yeah. Do they know now? Like, are you pretty transparent about that? I love that. I think I think we have to be really open and honest with our kids.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty transparent with them. I mean, our bond is like no other now. Now it's even better than it's ever been.
And I honestly think, I remember, and I won't go into details, like I have 2 little girls, 8 and 11, and at times when I would go through something, I never wanted to lie to them, but I was having to get help for something, and I thought, I cannot lie to them because there's going to be a point in their life where they're going to need help, and I have to show them they need to go ask for help, and they need to go to the church. And if it's not the church, it needs to be some sort of professional counselor. But at the time, it felt so disruptive to them, and I was so afraid to share it. But it's like, this is life. This is real. I have to be open and honest about the things that Brent and I struggle with. I mean, age appropriate to them, because I want them to ask for help one day when they need it. I want them to feel like they can.
We are their voice.
Yes.
Yeah.
We are their voice, or any addict or anyone in general that's scared to, speak out about it. I mean, I was terrified. I think that's why I never asked for help. But then again, I was like, no, people see me. I was like maybe 100 pounds, but I still like dressed to the T. And I was like, well, no one's ever going to notice. But they notice.
Yeah.
Your kids
They notice.
Well, and I think there's an element like too, asking for help is the shame. We feel ashamed. I still, at times when I need help, and I need help with things that I already know or I have previously asked for help on, I just may need a little like update. But there's still part of me, and it has to be little Leslie, that is ashamed for asking for help or not knowing. Not knowing, why can't I figure this out or push through it. There's still that part of me.
There's still that part.
There's still that part of me, because there's like shame associated with asking for help. I don't know where, and I think so many people have that. I don't know why. I don't know why.
Yeah, no, it's tough. For the longest, I was like, I didn't want to, ask for help. And then, the same people just kept coming to me. What do you need? What kind of help you need? And finally I was like, because I remember one day, like it was right after I got sober, and I was like, I can't take this anymore. Nothing was like really wrong, but I was like, I miss that old life, like the numbing sensation and all that. And I just kind of sat there, and my phone was in my hand, and I was like, I could either call someone I know who is my hookup.
Yeah.
I can phone a friend.
Yeah.
And I chose to reach out to someone at my church.
Yeah.
And she just, talked me through it. She even came to the house. And
I love that you keep mentioning your church. And I only know because we're social media friends that your faith seems to be an important part of your life. And I think, the church goes through all of these different seasons where it's like different things are changing within the church. But I love that you had a church family that did not condemn you, that was there for you. And that is truly what church should be.
Yeah.
They were amazing, like through the whole process. And at one point, like I tried out that church before, but then again, I was like, I think they're better than everyone.
Because it's all the devil playing on everything else in you, of like because there's so many other things. It's like when I feel like I'm guilty of like, I'm doing something wrong. Yeah. So instead of being seen for that, I got to find something wrong somewhere else, I think that's human nature. We were talking about that with someone earlier in a different scenario of like, sometimes we just need to be like, I'm the problem, Hey, hi,
it's me.
And
taking ownership of that.
Yeah. And recognizing that, like you said, you thought the church was not the right one for you, but it was always the right one for you. You just weren't willing to accept it.
Yes. Yes, because I would be lost without them. I mean, they've held my hand. I mean, they've prayed over me while I was crying, just tired of life. And I was like, I don't know if I can keep doing it. And they were nonstop calling me, checking on me. If I would miss a service, like they were like, "Where are you at? Why aren't you here?"
I know, this is the first time I've like heard your story, and really the first time that I've ever talked to you. And I don't know if you can like hear it when you hear yourself talk about it, but you've been talking about a span of like 4 or 5 years. Like looking back, like just hearing your story, I can really see how God had his hand in your life with these different people at different times. And when you were at your worst, like, do you see that now, how God played? And you didn't know it at the time, but that he had his hand in your life with every single person, with the church or another church, with the job that you're currently at.
Yeah, no. And there was times when I'm like, I would hit my knees, like, if there is a God, like, why are you steadily like throwing all these curveballs at me? Like, I'm doing everything right, and I expected, like, I do something right, he gives me something in return. But in reality, it doesn't work that way. It is his timing, not ours. Mm-hmm. And I had to learn that.
Yeah.
I still sometimes like, God,
Yeah.
like, hey, I'm still here. Like, but I was like, but he has had me this whole time.
This makes me actually really emotional to hear, like,
I know I've been rough over here. Like, I was letting you lead because I feel like there's so much that's relatable to so many people, and emotional.
Well, because at times you feel like God has abandoned you.
Yeah.
Yes. But he didn't. Mm-mm. And like you get to be on the other side of that talking about it now. And you didn't know it then.
But still, even now, like you said, it's like still now you still feel like, have I been abandoned now? And I think we're all guilty of forgetting to recognize the journey of where we've already came through. And no, we've never been promised for it to be easy, right? Mm-hmm. And so it's like, oh, but I just made it through all of that. Why do I have this next hurdle? And now we're focused on that hurdle, and it's like we feel abandoned or we feel left and we feel lost and unseen. And that's like the fight, right? Like everything in your mind, and you totally diminish all of that the previous things that you've gone through. It's like when you see things of, if only I what I prayed for now, what I prayed for then I have now, but I've already changed to the new prayer, and we don't do, we're human, we're just human, and we haven't been left, and we're not lost, and we're still being held, but we have a new piece that's adding on to that testimony.
Yeah.
Am I saying that right?
We need to swing that. We need to regroup for a second. I feel like I need to regroup for a second.
Well, it is deep, but that's why we were intrigued to have this conversation, because I feel like your willingness to be raw,
I know, I love that,
is profound.
And I'm going to be honest, like not too long ago, I walked in a gas station, of course, like I dressed to the T, but that's what makes me feel good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like that's what makes me feel good. But this girl was like, "Oh my gosh, you're so pretty. You have it all together." And I'm like, "Sweetheart, only if you knew."
Yeah.
And I was like, you could be dressed up nice and, look perfect. Then again, you also have all these tribulations and everything like that going on, but this is where I want to, I want people to see me that I'm raw, I'm real. You may see all this, but this doesn't mean nothing to me.
Mm-hmm. Life is just, we always say like Facebook's the highlight reel, but we all just choose the highlights in general, whether it's Facebook, in person, in wherever. We choose our highlights and what we allow people to see. And and because so many people choose not to show the lowlights, right? It allows
lowlights.
Is it lowlights?
Could be.
Right? Because we choose not to share those. When people do go through them, they feel completely alone because, because again, someone's going to listen to this, Lupita, and be like, oh my gosh, I had no clue, right? Because they have only seen this other piece, but they're going to immediately relate to you because they've gone through that too. And by telling our stories like this, it shows what's out there, what's capable of. You can always start over, you know? And
so now like we need to talk about lemon seed a little bit, what lemon seed does.
Lemon seed seat. Well, I mean, yeah. So you guys it was Apex, and then you moved over. It became rebranded. We rebranded.
Yeah.
it.
And they have a great brand, and they're always
absolutely.
on point. Even when they're at events, everyone there
Branding
is
on point with the yellow.
branding and the yellow.
And so you've entered the new chapter of your life. You have, that's, I think, the piece where we go next is you've entered the new chapter of your life, and it's a constant work, right?
Yeah, it's constant, I'm going to say growth, like nonstop. It's like, I feel like I'm growing every day, whether I make mistakes, I'm growing from those mistakes here at work. Because I believe if you make mistakes, that also means that you're growing as well. Because if you made no mistakes, then not no one's perfect.
How do you think that going through all that made you a better leader and a better communicator? Like, because you're like you said, you're part of business development and you're bringing on clients. Like, that has had to impact the way you communicate with people on a different level.
Yeah. So I've been told a time or two, like, I'm one of those, like, I want to get to know you as well. Like, yes, I'm here to make a relationship, a business relationship, but also I'm here because I see you as a friend. And I believe that's why I say a lot of people can connect to me or, I attract a lot of people is because just how I speak, it's not all about business.
Right.
So even though I want your business, it's really not all about business. It's about forming that bond. I mean, because the way I see it, like when I meet you, like you instantly become my friend, whether you like it or not.
Right. Right.
And you're not going to get rid of me either.
Yeah, for sure.
Love that.
But I'm me. Like what you see is what you get. And even when I'm talking to clients, like what you see is what you get.
Right.
So,
awesome. And I love that. And I agree with that you've not met her in person. I swear.
What?
I don't think that I have.
I think you did. Did you go to Women in HVAC in Phoenix?
Yes.
I met Crystal.
I think she was there too. But that was a big
No,
event.
I remember Crystal
still coming out of my shell sometimes. Like
Crystal came to our hotel room. So and I know you were not with her.
Yeah,
I would
that's
remember
true.
that.
That's true. Maybe that was 2 years ago. So see, lots of even growth from since then.
Yeah.
But we Women of HVAC in Jacksonville, we shared some Taco Bell in the lobby. At 1 a.m. I ordered enough Taco Bell for like the whole lobby at that point. DoorDash.
And I was walking through the lobby and they're like, "You want Taco Bell?" I was like, "Look, I'm hungry." I was like,
Yes, I do.
Yes, ma'am.
Taco Bell.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
And then we met some friends. We met a pilot, but we can't discuss that because that's complicated.
Oh, I need to hear this.
That's pilot.
Off the air.
It's a funny story. But it was hilarious, and it's a good time.
Man, at the Phoenix event in the lobby, I met some Greek Orthodox priests in the lobby, and I'd had a few drinks and got into some deep theological discussions.
And you ordered taquitos. There's a thing. If you learn anything from this Women of HVAC event, they're going to be like,
we like taquitos and Taco Bell
and alcohol, and they're going to be like, please don't ever speak about our event again.
Yeah. They are not spokeswomen for us.
It's a great time. It's just a good vibe. It's one of the events that you have to go to just.
It's in Dallas this year?
It is in Dallas this year.
Yes.
So close.
Y'all come to my neck of the woods over here.
Are you near Dallas?
No.
I'm probably closer to Dallas. We're closer to Dallas than her.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'm about like 3.5 hours away.
A drive?
Yeah.
So we're 3 hours. So we're about.
So it's probably about the same.
We'll meet in the middle.
Can you come get me on the way? I'm sure you'll just drive, won't you?
Yeah, I'm not gonna fly to Dallas.
Just come get me.
That would be a silly flight. But so what's next for you?
What is next for me?
Well, she started drinking more water.
She got out the Coca-Cola.
Yeah, I got off the Coca-Cola and the Little Debbie's because, like you said, you switch one addiction to another. Like, I'm sorry, that's how how it goes.
We got to be addicted to water.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, I got to find something else. The doctor's like, hey, you got to lay off the Little Debbie's. I was like, because I would wake up in the middle of the night.
What kind of Little Debbie's? I have to tell you this. This is so funny. So about 4 months ago, I don't know, this is completely irrelevant, but it reminds me. About 4 months ago, so my husband, by our house, he will go to the gas station, which is 7-Eleven, because he has us to get a can of dip. And a lot of times he'll be like, do you want anything? And they have icy, so sometimes I'm like, oh, I want an icy, or the girls will want something. Well, he started bringing me the little package of white powdered donuts. And I got like, I'm not kidding, for about 3 weeks, I was eating a package of those a night. And I was like craving them, right? They're putting something in our food. So then finally he goes to the store and he gets me the big bag. I ate a whole bag in one night.
You were like, oh, snap.
It felt like a legit, like, I need this. I need it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And what's crazy is, like, I would do this in the middle of the night, like 2-3 o'clock in the morning. I would wake up and I would have wrappers in my bed. But it's like, I couldn't blame that I was like sleepwalking, because I knew what I was doing.
Yeah. Well, I'm about to have a root canal in 2 weeks because I became addicted to Haribo gummy bears frozen. And I was freezing them and then eating them, and I broke a tooth.
I love Haribo.
Those are my favorite gummy bears.
Yeah,
but freezing them.
Why'd you freeze them? Could you taste the flavor?
No, but I'm telling you right now, it's I highly recommend them frozen, but I did, and
do you ever
I still
freeze grapes?
Maybe I should straight out the gummies for grapes, and then that's probably a little bit healthier.
And then you can put like Kool-Aid powder on them.
See, I can't do nothing cold. I can't even eat ice cream because my teeth are so sensitive.
So sensitive. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna have that issue with my new crown over here.
So were Cassie's teeth. Hers were sensitive too.
Well, Lupita, I am just want to say thank you for coming on and being so open.
I'm so glad you had an availability to talk to us.
And I know that someone's going to hear this and find empowerment of what they can do next too, and that it's okay to start over sometimes.
And it's okay, like, if you fail, but always get back up, because this has been embedded in my head for the longest, because I remember like calling Crystal on times and I was like crying in my closet, like, I can't do it. She's like, look, you can stay there a little bit, but you can't always be there.
You can't live there.
Yeah, like, you can have your moment, but get up. Like, get up.
Yeah, that's big.
I did it every day. I'm still doing it.
Well, I'm proud of you. We're proud of you. That's
you have an incredible story.
Keep sharing it, because it's going to helping people.
Oh, yeah. And anyone can, you see me at a show, wherever, like, approach me. I am not scared to talk about. I will
now if I see you.
I'm not scared, and you'll probably have to, like, shut me up at one point.
Good. She's an approachable person, people.
Yeah, very approachable.
Yes.
And if I see you, I'm going to, like, run, like Emily says, like a little deer, and I prance around like, oh my God.
Yeah. like yell from the other side, hello.
Yes.
Awesome.
I will.
Well, girl, thank you so much for jumping on with us today. Thanks for sharing your story, and we will see you soon.
All right. Bye, y'all.
Bye. Have a good day.
Bye. Y'all too.
This has been Power Women of the Trades. Like what you hear so far? Leave us a review at Apple, and make sure to listen to our other episodes wherever you enjoy listening to your podcasts. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you on the next one.